Hey folks, it's Jim from the Movie Rewind, and this is a video response and also a contest entry for Scott of Cineram and his contest, in which he asks two questions. And the first question is, what is your favorite moment in a Christopher Nolan movie? Now, Scott, I know you're not the biggest fan of this movie, but I've never heard you have any criticisms towards this particular sequence. It's not my favorite Christopher Nolan movie, but it's definitely my favorite moment in a Christopher Nolan movie, and that is the part where Batman grabs the Joker, throws him in the Dark Knight, and he breaks his rule, and the Joker is laughing to his death, and then Batman instead catches him, and there's a sigh of relief, but also at the same time, you know that these two characters are going to continue this philosophical and physical battle for years and years, or at least there would have been had there never been a Dark Knight Rises. I kind of wish we still had that ambiguity as to where their relationship would have went, but oh well.
Can't rely on anyone these days. You gotta do everything yourself. Don't we? That's okay. I came prepared. It's a funny world we live in. Speaking of which, you know how I got these scars?
No. But I know how you got me.
I thought the film really got at those two characters and Batman's rules and how he has to kind of think as a politician and not justify the claims that people have made on him that he's this sort of ruthless vigilante, and he also does this too to kind of keep himself mentally sane, and it's a terrific moment. And number two, what is the best movie trilogy and why? I thought about this one for a good while. I was between Lord of the Rings, or Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy, or the Godfather trilogy, or the original Star Wars trilogy, but in the end, I went with the Man with No Name trilogy, or the Dollars trilogy, whatever you want to call it. To me, just a terrific trilogy that progressively got better, surprisingly, and everything about that trilogy, the performances, the characters, the story, the score, the beautiful photography, the cinematic quality of those films, and just the mythological landscapes and the archetypes, everything about those movies got better and better. Also, I watched For a Few Dollars More the other day, and that's almost just as good as The Good, Bad, and the Ugly, in my opinion. But terrific trilogy that got better and better with each film, shockingly enough. And I can't really think of a film or trilogy to me where all the three films were really, really satisfying. I like the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I respect what it is and its cinematic achievement, but I've never been as emotionally invested in that trilogy like many other people have been, and it just comes down to a sort of personal preference, what connects with you, what doesn't. Bourne trilogy, very good trilogy. Each film's kind of more or less the same thing, but also very, very entertaining trilogy. Godfather trilogy might have been my number one, had the third one been more satisfying, but it was very disappointing. Dark Knight trilogy, very good. That third film, though, kind of disappointing regarding a lot of plot holes. And also, you had this arc of Bruce Wayne becoming Batman again, but at the same time, at the end of the film, it seems like he's kind of come to grips with the death of his parents, and he's finally moving on, which I thought was a very mature way to take that character that you don't see a lot of Batman stories go, but it seems to be conflicting with the arc of becoming Batman again. Also, there's the Star Wars trilogy, very good trilogy. Unfortunately, though, Return of the Jedi is not nearly as good as the other first two films, but still an overall satisfying trilogy. But in the end, my favorite trilogy, like I said before, would have to be the Man with No Name trilogy. Just brilliantly acted. Wieland Cleef, just so good in those movies, or especially that second one. And Clint Eastwood and Eli Wallach and just Sergio Leone just changed the perception of Westerns, and they're just a great trilogy. So there you have my favorite moment in a Christopher Nolan movie is the part where Batman grabs the Joker, throws him, and then catches him in the third act of The Dark Knight. And the best movie trilogy, in my opinion, is the Man with No Name trilogy. And that's it. Have a good day, folks.